Good day, everyone, and welcome to Learn English with Blaine. And this is your beginner dictation number 77. And the topic of our dictations today is going to be complex sentences. So again, the topic today is complex sentences, and this is your beginner dictation number 77. Complex sentences are sentences with one independent clause and at least one dependent clause. The dependent clause will begin with a subordinate conjunction. Here are just a few of the more common subordinating conjunctions. So words such as because, if, although, even though, after, unless, and until. These words are what we call subordinating conjunctions. So here is an example of a complex sentence. You did well because you studied hard. You did well because you studied hard. This is a complex sentence. Now, when we look closer at this sentence, we can see that we have an independent clause, and then after the independent clause, we have a dependent clause. We know that this is the dependent clause because it's beginning with a subordinated conjunction. In this case, the conjunction is because. Now, you can begin the sentence with the independent clause and end with the dependent clause, or you can, in this case, begin the sentence with the dependent clause. So you can say, you did well because you studied hard, or we can say, because you studied hard, you did well. The only thing is, remember that if we begin with the dependent clause, we're going to have a comma after that clause is over. See the links in the description box for more information about types of sentences. Do you have your pen and paper ready? Because remember that you are going to listen and then write what you hear. In this video, there will be 7 dictations, and I will say each one 3 times. Do not worry if you make a few spelling mistakes, and do not worry if you can't write every word. You will get better with practice. Here is our dictation number 1. Dictation number 1. Before we arrived at the party, comma, we bought some pastries. Period. Before we arrived. Before we arrived. At the party. At the party. Comma. Comma. We bought some pastries. We bought some pastries. Period. Before we arrived at the party, comma, we bought some pastries. Period. Before we arrived at the party, we bought some pastries. Now, when we look at this sentence, we can see that here we have the dependent clause. Right here, it's beginning with the word before. And then here we have the independent clause. Okay, let's move on to our next dictation. Dictation number 2. Dictation number 2. We had a nice drive, even though it was raining. Period. We had a nice drive. We had a nice drive. Even though it was raining, it was raining. Period. We had a nice drive even though it was raining. Period. We had a nice drive even though it was raining. Now, when we look at this sentence, can you find the dependent and independent clause? Yeah, here we have the independent clause, and the one in red, this is the dependent clause. Independent, dependent. Dictation number 3. Dictation number 3. We went for coffee after we finished work. Period. We went for coffee. We went for coffee. After we finished work. After we finished work. Period. We went for coffee after we finished work. We went for coffee after we finished work. Period. We went for coffee after we finished work. And let's take another look. So here we have the independent clause. We went for coffee. We went for coffee. And the dependent clause is after we finished work. After we finished work. Okay, so let's move along to our dictation number 4. Maria bought her new hat because the price was good. Period. Maria bought her new hat. Maria bought her new hat because the price was good. Because the price was good. Period. Maria bought her new hat because the price was good. Period. Maria bought her new hat because the price was good. Now let's take another look here. Now here we see this is the independent clause. The independent clause is here, and the dependent clause is right here. Okay, dictation number 5. Dictation number 5. My brother didn't start cooking until we had arrived. Period. My brother didn't start cooking until we had arrived. Until we had arrived. Period. My brother didn't start cooking until we had arrived. Period. My brother didn't start cooking until we had arrived. So again, when we look at this sentence closer, we can see that we've got the independent clause. My brother didn't start cooking. My brother didn't start cooking. And then afterwards, we see the dependent clause that begins with the subordinate conjunction, until we had arrived. Until we had arrived. When we put these together, we get a complex sentence. Okay, so let's move along to our dictation number 6. Dictation number 6. We can go for a ride downtown if we finish our work. Period. We can go for a ride downtown. We can go for a ride downtown if we finish our work. If we finish our work. Period. We can go for a ride downtown if we finish our work. Period. We can go for a ride downtown if we finish our work. So that's a complex sentence. And here we have the independent clause. We can go for a ride downtown. And the dependent clause, if we finish our work. And together, this makes a complex sentence. One complex sentence. Okay, everyone, so let's move along to our dictation number 7. This is our last dictation of the video. This will be our last dictation of this video. We won't buy the house on the corner unless you move close by! Exclamation. We won't buy the house. We won't buy the house on the corner, unless you move close by! Exclamation. Unless you move close by! Exclamation. We won't buy the house on the corner unless you move close by! Exclamation. We won't buy the house on the corner unless you move close by! So this is a complex sentence. And again, this sentence has got an independent clause. We won't buy the house on the corner. And then it's got a dependent clause, unless you move close by. So together, these two clauses, the independent clause and the dependent clause, when they are put together, they make one complex sentence. So everyone, I want to thank you so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. I appreciate each and every one of you. Remember, please leave your comments or questions in the comment section below the video. And if you like this video, please remember to share, like, and subscribe. Thank you so much, everyone, and I will see you very soon in the next video. And I hope you all have a fantastic day.